Hi writers, we are going to learn about using mini stories or paraphrasing to support our thesis statement in our literary essays. So today I want to teach you that essayists try to support their points in ways that will move readers to agree with them. And to do that, they sometimes paraphrase a part of the story. And we're going to model this with our essay on Fly Away Home. All right, so paraphrasing is when you restate or reword a text, putting it clearly into your own words. So we've talked about quoting as evidence to support your thesis statement, and that is when you use the exact words of a part of a text and you put them in quotation marks and name who said that and what page it was written on. But paraphrasing is putting a chunk of the text into your own words. All right, so let's practice this with Fly Away Home. So to write a mini story as evidence for our thesis, you first need to timeline a section of the story that matches your thesis and support. So as a reminder, our thesis is that Fly Away Home teaches us not to give up, the support we're working with today is with the help of the small bird. So we're going to write a paragraph on the section about how the bird teaches the reader not to give up. So I'm going to start by rereading the section of the text where we learn from the bird, and then we're going to timeline it together. So put each part of that section in sequential order. All right, so here it is in yellow. Once a little brown bird got into the main terminal and couldn't get out. It fluttered in the high, hollow spaces. It threw itself at the glass, fell panting on the floor, flew to a tall metal girder, and perched there, exhausted. Don't stop trying, I told it silently. Don't, you can get out. For days, the bird flew around, dragging one wing, and then it found the instant when a sliding door was open and slipped through. I wanted it to rise. Its wings seemed okay. Fly, bird, I whispered, fly away home. Though I couldn't hear it, I knew it was singing. Nothing made me as happy as that bird. All right, so that's the section we're working with. So let's timeline it. Let's put it in order. So first, we have that the bird is flying in a small space in the airport. Next, we have that the bird flies into the glass. After we have that the bird gets tired and perches, giving up on leaving. Next, we see Andrew keeps watching and tells the bird not to give up. After we have the bird continues to fly, even though its wing is hurt. And then we have the sliding door opens and the bird escapes. And finally, Andrew tells the bird to fly away home. So I just put step by step what happened in that small section of the text. Now our next step is to rewrite our thesis and support as a topic sentence, then tell the mini story by paraphrasing it as evidence. And we need to remember to use transitions like first, next, then, last, and finally to keep it in order. So here's what I wrote. The last and maybe most important way the author teaches to always keep trying is through a small bird. One day, a small bird is flying in a small space in the airport. It struggles to get out for a few days. It even flies into glass and soon gives up, perching on a beam in the airport. When Andrew sees this, he keeps watching the bird, realizing it is trapped and encouraging it not to give up. Later, the sliding door opens and the bird escapes, despite its injured wing. As it leaves, Andrew whispers, fly, little bird, fly away home. So see, after I have my topic sentence with the thesis restated in the support, I paraphrased a section of the text. I told the story of the bird in the airport in my own words. And I used our transition words when, later, to tell that part of the story. All right, so our final step is to explain how our evidence supports our thesis. So I used the phrase, this shows, to tell us how it connects. So this shows that Andrew is rooting for the bird, telling it not to give up. The bird is a symbol of hope for Andrew, that one day he and his dad will get out of the airport and go home too. The bird kept trying and finally, at the right moment, was out and free. The author is helping us realize that this can be Andrew and his dad one day. So I explained by evidence. It's not enough to just leave it there. We have to explain how it connects to the thesis. And as a reminder, but I wrote in yellow, remember that the paraphrased part or the mini story is in your own words. I did not copy from the book. The only part I quoted was when Andrew said, "Fly, little bird, fly away home." All right. So now it's going to be your turn. Remember, the steps that you take are first to timeline a section of the story that matches your thesis and support. Then you're going to rewrite your thesis and support and tell the mini story by paraphrasing as evidence. And you'll remember to use sequential transitional words and phrases like first, next, then, last, and finally. And then you'll explain how your evidence supports your thesis. And again, remember that the paraphrase section is in your own words. Use the text as a guide, but we are paraphrasing and not quoting here. All right, go ahead.